All right, so here are some mulberries that have been grown out a year from cutting. You can see this one here is about the size of my finger or a little less. There's some other ones around here. You can see they're starting to leaf out now. So we've got a dozen or more mulberries from last season. This is Black Beauty, Persian mulberry. The reason why I'm propagating these is because this is about the smallest mulberry tree out there. And so this can be used to just be a fruiting tree, or it can become rootstock for other mulberries that will hopefully impart some size control. Let's go see how to take some cuttings and make it happen. So here we are, we're prepped and ready to go. So the first step was to cut some sticks off of a mulberry tree and then let them callus off for a day or two or more. This time around I let them sit for actually a couple weeks even, and then I cut them up into these little sticks. So starting out with the stick about like so. The roots won't grow out of the buds. The leaves will come out of the buds. So I generally try to leave a leaf bud towards the top of each stick, just because hopefully that will grow. And then I have my potting media right here. So this is mainly perlite with some peat moss in it, just to give a little bit of acidity and a little bit of moisture control. I can get my sort of seed bed, or the bed, if you will, nice and level, just by sort of combing it with a stick, making it flat, removing a couple leaves that have dropped in there over the time. And so then I've got these then soaking in a solution that has some rooting hormone. This one this time, so this is a 0.1% IBA, or indole butyric acid. You can do dip and grow or any other combination. It doesn't really matter. I ran a nursery for over 10 years. I've taught propagation at the community college level. This is what works for me, and there are plenty of techniques that do work out there. I've dipped the sticks into powder. I've dipped sticks into liquid. But this is really nice. I basically soak them in this solution for about 2 days. It hydrates the sticks, and then I don't really need to water my rooting chamber anymore at all. So I take a stick. You can see how tall it is. I've checked the height then. I'll start over here so you can see it a little bit better. I've checked the height of my soil, and I'm just going to push it in. So with this, I don't even need a dibble because I don't have powder on my sticks anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and start processing these, a couple inches in between. You can do some small ones, some big ones. It doesn't really matter. And we're going to fill this chamber up. And we've got it on bottom heat. So we've got this set to over here. You can see we've got it set to about 70 degrees. So we're at 72.8, 73. So that means the heating mats are not on anymore right now. But it goes in here. You can see I've got this even labeled from last year. I did cuttings on March 2nd from last year. So I'll update. It's a little bit earlier than that this time around. So we're just going to fill in our box right here. We'll put the lid on and leave it cracked a little bit just so that it doesn't get too moist in there. You monitor the moisture. You can spray them down from time to time. But in general, I don't really have to add a whole lot of water. That's what the peat moss is here for. The peat moss also helps with the acidity to keep any botrytis or mold from happening. So in the nursery setting, botrytis is your enemy. And so we have a reasonably clean situation here. We're on some heating mats on top of a piece of insulated foam. Our bins that do have holes cut in the bottom of them. The blend here is probably about 75-80% perlite, 20% peat moss. And again, there are holes in the bottom so that any excess moisture can drain out. And that's the basic process. If I've forgotten anything, just ask a question in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them. And hopefully you get out there and you create some new trees. This will work for, figs, pomegranates, any other tree that will, propagate reasonably well from cuttings. So again, this is your stick. And I've had that soaking in a IBA solution for about 2 days. We're just sticking them in. And we're going to plant out this bin. And it'll take about 2 months or so to see some, maybe 6 weeks to see some leaves, maybe even shorter than that. But seeing leaves doesn't matter. It's the roots that we care about. So with that, we'll leave you to get out there in the garden and go create your own trees by cuttings. Thanks for joining us. See you in the next one.